Okay, I've had a couple of clients today mention the struggle with black and white thinking that they're having. And when they find themselves like kind of giving in to the eating disorder, whether it be restricting or movement or kind of following certain rituals that, sorry, I'm trying to fix my tripod, that they kind of just wipe out the whole day. It's like, well, this day's over, right? I mean, I didn't really do what I was supposed to exactly, and I just want to start fresh tomorrow. And the problem with that is, guess what? Every single day ends up being that, because you're going to make mistakes. Your eating disorder is like tainted every aspect of your life. For so many, however many months or years you've struggled with your eating disorder, every decision that you've made has been influenced by your eating disorder. So you are not going to be absolutely perfect from day one. A client asked me today, like, Becky, from the day that you decided to fully recover, was it just perfect from then on? Like, just never like slipped up or never had any restriction come in? And I answered and was like, well, hopefully my videos have not given that impression. But one thing that did make a difference in that last attempt at recovering that I did not do in past attempts at recovering was when the eating disorder would pop up, when it would kind of like take control over me. What I found was when I was determined to recover, as soon as I caught that little slip up, I would immediately correct it. And by doing that, and that turnaround time was fast. You know, it could have been like an example of going out to lunch with friends, realizing I kind of ordered a little bit safer, still challenging, but safer than the thing I really wanted, and being like, oh crap. And instead of letting myself or the eating disorder get away with it, I would stop at a bakery and I'd go get a giant cookie, or I'd go get a brownie or whatever, just to be like, see, we don't do that anymore, right? We do not do that anymore. You're not getting away with anything. You try to go for that walk, well, guess what? When you get back, you're gonna eat a box of cereal. So it was just sort of this like, and I don't want that to turn into like, okay, well, if I go for a walk, then I can eat cereal. That's not what I'm saying at all. Obviously, the intention is to always stay committed to recovery and what that entails, right? Being sedentary and eating to your mental hunger. However, when I found myself falling short, and when you find yourself falling short, I want you to be very stern with yourself. If any of you have kids, you know that if you ask them to do something and they don't do it day after day after day, sorry, an elastic just fell out of my mouth, and they don't do it day after day after day, no consequence whatsoever, do you think anything's gonna change? Suddenly they're gonna be like, you know what? I've gotten away without doing chores for a week. I think I'm gonna start doing them now. No, not at all. But if after the first day they're not doing their chore and they get their phone taken away and they're grounded from friends and they can't go to their basketball practice, guess what? They're gonna learn and remember that kind of stunk. Actually, not doing my chore was kind of crappy because I paid for it. And so the next day, do your chore, guess what? They're gonna do it. And it's the same thing. You know what? Yesterday I did try to get away with such and such, and I ended up, correcting it immediately and got really uncomfortable with what I had to eat to ensure that eating disorder voice quieted. I don't want to do that again. Okay. So correcting these slip ups and ensuring that you have the upper hand again is so important. Another thing that I think I want to discuss is this goal setting. In terms of planning, should you plan your day like a meal plan type thing the night before? A lot of you are type A personalities, not all. There's a stereotype that everyone is, not everyone, but a lot of you are, and a lot of you like lists. And I really like lists in recovery. And so I made them. And the way that I did that to have a little bit of structure and be proactive from day to day and ensuring that I was getting through my long list of fear foods was I would pick, 3 things that absolutely had to be eaten with flexibility as to when it was going to be, right, in the day. But I would pick 3 things that absolutely had to have, no matter if I felt like it or not, I had to have it. And then everything else was going to be something that challenged me, but I had the freedom to choose what that was. And that was one way that I was able to be successful at making sure that I wasn't kind of playing it safe or being timid in what I was eating. And by doing that and eating those 3 really big fearful things, it almost kind of like, it was the catalyst to allowing me to eat more freely. It was like, well, if I'm already eating these 3 things, I've been out twice today to get food, I may as well just have, you know, the bagel with cream cheese because I'm in recovery and I'm actually doing this. And so essentially gaining that momentum, if you're struggling to do that, sometimes putting these things, inserting these things to help you to be more proactive and being able to commit to them when you have a sound mind, which oftentimes for me was in the evening. At night is when I could think clearly about what I wanted to do. And at night was when my mental hunger was really clear. So if I was writing out like, you know, what I really wanted, let's say I was like, okay, breakfast, like, oh my gosh, I want waffles and I want cereal and I want bagel and cream cheese and I want eggs and I want orange juice. And it was like, okay, first I needed to get up and eat right then because there's obviously a mental hunger, but also like I was way hungrier than I was allowing myself in the morning to eat. Like at night was really the true hunger that I had. It wasn't when I woke up and was automatically in autopilot with that eating disorder and just that little bowl of yogurt seemed fine. Now, another thing I want to talk about, and kind of going all over the place, and some of this is reflective from a session I just had, so it's fresh in my mind. The candy bar challenge. I'm just going to touch on that again real quick. So I did do the candy bar challenge, and I think it goes way back in my videos. For some of you new subscribers, though, or people to my channel, is where I wrote a note next to my bed that says, I'm not migrating anymore, I'm recovering. Put a full-size candy bar next to my bed on my nightstand, and as soon as my alarm went off, I committed. The night before I committed, no matter how I felt in the morning, to eating that candy bar before I got out of bed. And I did that. And I've had clients do that. And sometimes they'll return or report, you know, I did the candy bar challenge, but the rest of the day was just crap. Okay, so then that's where that list of fearful foods would be helpful. It's like, okay, I did the candy bar challenge. I also went through my list of fear foods, and you know what I found was I was a lot more aggressive and bold in what I was choosing to eat that day. Gaining that momentum and getting yourself out of that kind of autopilot decision-making that goes on when you have an eating disorder and you're waking up in the morning especially, right? It's like you wake up and you're on cruise control and you're headed to eating disorder hell. And we need you to wake up, snap out of it with that candy bar, and get on the path to I'm fully recovering, right? And kind of snap yourself out of that hypnosis, that state of mind that you're in. And I've found that to be very helpful when people utilize that tool that way, with the determination that they're fully recovering, but they just need a little kick in the butt in the morning to make sure and to remind their brain what they're actually doing. If you're not really committed to recovering, if you're not determined to do whatever it takes to recover, yeah, sure, you're gonna eat that candy bar in bed, and then you're gonna get up on your way to do all the disordered, stupid stuff that you do every day, okay? So you have to have that determination and this mindset that you have one goal in mind, and all your decisions and all your actions are supporting that one end goal of being free from your eating disorder. And you can't be free from your eating disorder if you're still listening to it. So that's my message today, kind of all over the place, but there you go. All right, have a good day.